Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Anthony Spano, on another edition of Spano in the Need. Tonight, we have community involvement in the owner of Platt Insurance, Ellie Platt. Ellie, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hi, Tony Spano. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Ellie, we go way back for a variety from community involvement and some other interests. And if people don't know, talk a little bit about your background, kind of how you got into the insurance business and kind of really got to where you are now.
Sure. Yeah, I want to say, gosh, when did we first meet? Maybe Mahoney Valley Young Professionals?
It's probably been over a decade.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. So, and it's great. I mean, there's so many young professionals in the community that we connected back then, some that are some of my dear friends today, and we're involved in business together. So many good things have come from that group. But a little bit about my background. So I'm born and raised in Youngstown, and started out, I went away to college. First job out of school was with a nonprofit in the area. They're known today as Meridian Healthcare. And I fell in love with the nonprofit world. I really didn't even know when I was going to school. I went for communications and business. Didn't even really know that that was an option. And I plugged into that nonprofit community right away and just really fell in love with it. Meridian did drug and alcohol, mental health treatment. And I was there for 10 years. Never thought in a million years I would leave. I built so many great relationships, had amazing mentors. But one good thing that Meridian did is they really, the CEO, that's still the CEO today, Larry Moliterno, was so great about developing and mentoring people that worked in that organization. So much so that I got to the place where I, was working so much for someone else that I realized, you know what, I can do this myself. And wasn't quite sure what that was going to be. And at the time, Nationwide Insurance, which is a large national insurance carrier, was recruiting agents in the state of Ohio. And on a whim, I agreed to go to coffee with one of their sales managers that was out of Columbus. Met with him at Peaberry's in Canfield, and within 5 minutes of the conversation, I got that own my own business bug. Like in a matter of 5 minutes, I was like, I'm doing this. I'm going to start my own business. And people ask me all the time who knew me from the nonprofit world, because I did fundraising, grant writing. That's such a huge shift to insurance, and because I didn't know anything about insurance. I mean, that was at the time. And so I got my insurance license, left my job at Meridian, and just took a leap of faith to start my own business. And I'm excited to say that this 2021, actually right about this time, is at 10 years that I've been in business. So I'm really proud of that. And so my agency, Platt Insurance, we do all types of insurance: home, auto, business, life. We specialize in farm insurance. It started with myself and one other employee. Today, there are 10 of us. I'm really proud of where we've grown the business and just the impact that we're making in the community.
What was it like?
That's a snapshot.
Were you kind of like deer in headlights when you first, everyone gets into business for themselves, or you kind of get a deer in headlights, or like within 6 months, you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Did you get that, or were
like,
you
what did I do?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was a deer in headlights. I tend to be, I would say in general, a pretty fearless person. Like, I'm comfortable with a certain amount of risk. But I was leaving the safety and stability of a job. I had been there for 10 years. At the time, I had a 2-year-old child. So young kid at home, not even in school yet. And I didn't know insurance at all. I didn't know that business. And it was definitely, I had to believe in myself. There were, many days in the beginning where I'm like, what did I do? And, but I believed in myself, and, I've had such wonderful support around me. So, I'm thankful for the people in our office, I just in the insurance community, I've learned from so many of them. But yeah, it's scary. It's scary. And I know there's a lot of people, entrepreneurs, that sort of are in between, where, you know, they have the safety and stability of a job with health insurance and benefits, and to go out on your own, like where you don't have health insurance, you don't, you know, have that regular salary. It's scary. But I would do it all over again. You know, it was the best decision I ever made.
Do you feel that you've learned a lot as a business owner compared to what you were doing in the nonprofit area?
Yeah, so the nonprofit world definitely prepared me to own my own business. I mean, as you know, nonprofits aren't no profit. You know, it's a business just like any other business. And so probably the biggest thing is that, you know, my role was in community involvement, marketing, fundraising. Those relationships that I built during those 10 years at Meridian just transferred into my insurance life. So much of what I do today and close, even business partners, started back during that time. So it transferred, you know, like the skills definitely did. But I made a lot of mistakes. I mean, I one of my favorite things to do, I'm involved in the Youngstown Business Incubator has a women's entrepreneurship group. One of my favorite things is working with startups and, you know, especially women starting new businesses, because there was a lot of mistakes that I made just because it's trial and error. You don't know what you're doing, whether it's, you know, taxes, phone systems, hiring, training, so much, you know, I've had to learn the hard way. And so, you know, I really do my best now to kind of come around people that are starting businesses so that they can learn from the mistakes that I made. And the successes. I've done a lot of things well too.
Yeah, I think everyone has had their failures and successes to kind of show where they grow.
Right.
Being involved in that women's entrepreneur group, what have you learned to really help these women getting started in the business, teaching them what kind of like the mistakes that you have gone through as a business owner, and what has really you have learned from them?
Oh gosh, so much. So I think the biggest thing, and I say this to other business owners all the time, is surrounding yourself with a team. You know, the thing that was the hardest for me leaving an organization like Meridian and starting my own business is that I was alone. And, you know, when you're in a company, you can bounce ideas off of somebody, you know, so it was very much I kind of felt alone in it. And so bringing a team around you, and maybe those areas that you don't do as well. So whether it's marketing, the financial side, taxes, an amazing CPA, technology, train, you know, just kind of bringing a team around you, not even within your business, just people outside that can be mentors, I think is really important. And surrounding yourself with other business owners. I mean, I am so lucky. My circle of friends are, you know, awesome, you know, local business owners and entrepreneurs that, you know, they're the ones that I, you know, vet my ideas with and that challenge me and give me ideas. So that's what I usually say. And that's it. A lot of the women that own in the YBI program and other places, I mean, just, gosh, there's so much, you know, so many ideas that they have that I'm inspired by, you know, so I just think the grit and the desire to just continually improve and grow, I think those women inspire me. That's like the biggest thing I walk away with.
So now you've been in business for now 10
years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now we're in the pandemic. What have you experienced as a small business, the ups and downs, or just in general, what you've learned from your friends or small business? Because small businesses are almost the mess.
Yeah, so I think small businesses during this last year, during the pandemic, were definitely affected differently. You know, so my business was considered an essential business. So we, you know, continued to operate. We did have some of our employees working from home, some in the office. I think what I have found as a business is that ideas that I had or things we wanted to do, I think it just accelerated it. So, for example, what we're doing today, I mean, having meetings and conversations online is huge. I think we were always moving in that direction as a business and, as an industry, but I think it has accelerated that for the better. I think we're able to connect with people in a different way more frequently. We need the face-to-face. I mean, that's always important. But I do find, that's been really great. Just technology in general, I think it's accelerated that. So our business wasn't affected in the same way. In some ways, it's been the best year we've had because it kind of forced us as a business and also individually to really look at what's really important. What do we really want to spend our time doing? What are we going to say no to? And I think that's been a good thing to walk away from because, as a business owner and someone involved in the community, God, you can say yes to everything and then you're spread so thin. And that's been a big takeaway this year. In our office, I know we spent a lot of time working on training and our credentials. We had time on our hands. And so there's different credentials that everyone was working towards. So I'm really proud of everybody for doing that. So there's been a lot of good, for us that's come from it. But I'll tell you, our clients in the restaurant business, commercial property landlords, they are hurting. They are definitely hurting. And I think I kind of see it as our job, to come alongside them and to support them as best we can.
And I think we talked a little bit about how involved you're in the community because of your nonprofit background, and has helped you with the transition. And you give back a lot. What makes you give back? Because you're part of the Oh Wow board, you're part of the community foundation, and you've done some different stuff that have really been productive and really inspired people. So what makes you give back to the community?
Gosh, so that, it really started for me with my family. So, like I said, I'm from Youngstown. My father just passed away last year. It was a year on Easter Sunday. Right at the start of the shutdown, my father passed away. And my father was a local minister. So he started a church when I was 5 years old. Both he and my mom really, we were raised, with a heart of service. For a love of Youngstown. My dad loved Youngstown. And so I think from a very young age, that was always part of who I was. And so, it's, what I do today, it's definitely giving back, but that's where my heart is. It's what I love. I love my business. I see my business as just another extension. I feel like our agency is more than a business. We do it through insurance, but at the end of the day, it's about reaching and connecting and serving people. And it's obviously how I make a living, the people who work here make a living. But I love it. So I'm on the board at Oh Wow. That's really important to me. I'm a Youngstown Rotarian, which, is an amazing group of people that inspire me all the time. And then I'm also involved in a group called Downtown Youngstown Partnership. So it's an association of the downtown businesses. We know so much has changed downtown. So many awesome businesses and restaurants have popped up. And so we've worked for the last, going on 4 or 5 years to really create a collective voice for those businesses to, work together to create the conditions that attract and retain businesses to downtown. And so we do it through small projects. If you're walking downtown, you can see it's under the umbrella of Youngstown Cityscape, but you'll see the smoke. I don't even know they're the cigarette butt dispensers. You'll see them like on they're on some lamp posts, and you'll see them throughout downtown. You'll see the stickers DYP, but just little projects, cleanups, whatever we can do to just help impact the downtown area.
Well,
I love it. It's what I love.
Well, I think we all love downtown Youngstown, and we want it to be successful because I would say maybe 10, 11 years ago, there wasn't much of a downtown Youngstown.
No, actually, one of my favorite stories, I'm sure you know Christy Ambar who was a local artist who just passed away about a week or two ago.
He did.
Such a great guy.
He helped us with fundraising for the Hope Foundation was Stallings back about 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah, great guy. Big heart.
Yeah, so Chris, one of my favorite stories he told, and Chris goes way back, you know, his history with downtown goes way before us. And we were at an event at the Soap Gallery, and Chris, you know, stood up and said he remembers, and he had done this, where he would lay in the middle of the street on Federal, and you could roll down Federal and not get hit by any cars. You know, that there was that, it was that dead down there, you know, and it cracked me up, you know, that that's what he remembered. And so, yeah, I mean, it's really been the last decade. Yeah, and I look at people like you, so, oh my gosh, I couldn't even name everybody, Phil Kidd, Paul Hagman, that have just had such an impact, you know, before really anything was going on. You know, they were down there picking up trash. They were buying buildings, renovating buildings. I mean, they've done, you know, there's so many people that have just took that leap of faith, you know, before they could even see what it could be. So.
And then we got older, wiser, more responsibilities.
That's the truth. And tired, more tired.
Yeah. Well, one of the big effects that moved downtown was the WOW, which you're on the board about.
Yes.
And they have not been open for, I would say, over a year. And I know they're opening up, or they already are open. So what's that, May, June comes
May 15th. Yeah. So May 15th, they're going to do a grand opening. So it's been, gosh, yeah, a long time. But what's exciting is that it's going to be completely renovated. There's new exhibits. There's adding a second floor, which is mainly offices. What I'm excited about is the entrance is changing. So it's moving from Federal just right onto Federal Plaza. And eventually it's going to mirror the hotel. You know, when you drive through, it's going to mirror that. There'll be a drive-through where buses can go in for field trips and whatnot. So it's exciting. It's going to be a pretty awesome renovation. And oh wow brings thousands of people downtown and families, kids, that wouldn't have before, you know. So, and OWOW is a good example of an organization where it was just a small group of people that believed in the Children's Museum, STEM education, Suzanne Barbati, just knocking on doors, raising funds. I mean, these are people that, you know, just like, you know, like they just came together and made it happen. And now it's this beautiful thing that's truly affecting the community.
I remember, I don't know if it was associated, we talked about OWOW, but the old Children's Museum, I think it was, it was right across the post office, and the girl running it at the time was Liz Mora.
Yes, right, yeah. So there was a point in time where, so that is the origination of OWOW, and there was a point in time where, you know, people were thinking, you know what, we didn't know if this would work in downtown Youngstown, but there were just an amazing group of people like Suzanne, Bruce Sherman, you know, from Sherman Creative, that were like, no, you know, they had a vision for what it could be. And these are people that own their own businesses, that were volunteers. You know, these weren't people getting paid to do this. And they were like, we have a vision for this. We're going to make it happen. And they did. And so it's pretty exciting. So I'm really honored to be part of that group of people. So I've been on the board. So I actually just cycled off. I was on the board for 6 years. So I just cycled off in December, and then I still plan an event with Lisa Resnick. So Lisa's on the board at OWOW now.
I wonder how she got on there.
Right. I passed the baton. I was like, here you go. So she and I co-chair an event for OWOW called Science of Brewing, which will be happening August the 6th, hopefully live is our hope, but it'll be Friday, August 6th. And it's a beer and wine taste, and for like a lot of the local breweries, and it's right inside OWOW, adult only, not for the kids. But we created it as a way to bring people. We wanted to bring people into the museum that didn't have kids that wouldn't normally go there, and so that was why we created it.
Well, I know one thing that I've had Mr. Ralph on. We talked about masks at the beginning of it. A guy that's very intelligent. We've had him on the show and talking about with kids and doing special shows for this. So very knowledgeable. Oh, wow, is a great asset for the community.
Oh, he is. He's passionate. He's like really loves it. So it's a great group. Yeah, I'm excited about.
Let me ask you this. What advice can you give someone that is maybe not from around here, or that, because you know how it is, a lot of us young professionals moved away, and but a lot of us stayed. What advice would you give someone that wants to start their own business, that wants to be an entrepreneur, and that wants to take that risk but is afraid to, like we talked about, deer in headlights? I was a deer in headlights for the Hope Foundation.
Yeah, it's tough, especially now where, no one wants to leave their job, because there's so much uncertainty with COVID. I say it's really, I feel differently, especially somebody's younger. So I actually had somebody who worked for me. If you're going to start a business or do something, you're 21, 22, right out of school, just go for it. What do you have to lose? I remember thinking back then I had to have a job and, have this consistent income. And I think you really don't, when you see the big picture now, I can look back, 20 years later and say, that's when I should have done it. So I think, what do you have to lose? I definitely think just take that leap. It is different, when I left my job, I had a family and a house and bills and everything I had to think about. And I think some of it is just surrounding yourself with really great mentors, and asking them, I feel I was very intentional about the people I surrounded myself with. Suzanne Barbati from WOW is a good example. Back when I started at Meridian, part of my job was fundraising and grant writing. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I would seek out, women, people in the community that I said, okay, they're doing it right. And I would say, Suzanne, will you meet me for lunch? And just putting yourself out there, like putting yourself out of your comfort zone. But I think surrounding yourself with other like-minded people that can support you in it. There's great resources out there. The YBI is their Women's Entrepreneurship Program. They'll do business planning with you. They have a grant program, for startups. SCORE, YSU has amazing business resources. So SCORE, if you know Ron Emery, he's doing some great things there in the Small Business Center. Our library has an amazing business center, just books, places to learn. So I think just putting yourself out there, and also at the end of the day, believing in yourself. You might fail, but it's I think that's where we learn and grow.
And so we talk about women's entrepreneurship, which is becoming a bigger thing now. And
right. Mm-hmm.
What advice on that side can be done to do more entrepreneurs for women? Because you're starting to see that now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just continuing. I read I was involved in a group probably like 5-6 years ago in Youngstown, and we were looking at data on women-led businesses, and it was very small, like 10% of small businesses. So we definitely have our work to do. I think just you're seeing it everywhere, just the national narrative. You're seeing it in Youngstown that that women can do this. There's so much more opportunity. There's great groups in Youngstown, like the Youngstown Business Women Professionals. They do a great equal pay event. I think just more groups like that are talking about just women leadership, I think is really important. Mentorship is so important. Like just working with younger people. It's one of my favorite things to do. Is just helping, just inspire them, encourage them, what they're trying to do. Because it's, right now, like, I feel the worst for right now are those 19, 20-year-olds that just graduated from high school. It's their first year, maybe going to school or work, and there's a global pandemic. I know so many of my own family, that other kids I've talked to, like they're in a tough spot right now. Like, you don't know what you want to do then anyways, let alone now they're like online school. And so I think my focus has just been mainly coming around those people in my circle and supporting them as best I can. And then just really spotlighting women in our community that are doing great things. I know, you know, Penguin City, Aspasia Lyris, Bernanke, who is one of my heroes. That girl, she just doesn't quit. And, you know, I've had lots of conversations, just she's just like me, like you're deer in headlights when all this starts. And she's just worked so hard and is consistent and every day shows up. And, you know, look, Penguin City, I can't wait to see what happens there. They're going to transform. They're going to, like, we've had this, you know, revitalization downtown. They're going to be part of taking it again to a next level. And so Aspasia is a big part of that. Bergen Giordani with One Hot Cookies. She was one of the very first businesses in downtown Youngstown. She ran a business and had a full-time job and did that for a long time, and then eventually took a leap and went out on her own. Alexa Sweeney Blacon, who's at Sweeney Chevrolet, she just bought that thing. She owns it. And like women like that, I think we just putting a spotlight on these women, the amazing work that they're doing. I think we need to keep talking about it. So that's what I try and do, is just really bring attention to those women as best we can.
What does the future hold for Miss Ellie Platt?
Well, so I just last July, so I've been in business 10 years, I said, so just last July, we went from being a captive nationwide insurance agent to independent, which means that we now are representing multiple insurance companies. So I've been really focused on our business and bringing the best insurance carriers that we can to our clients, so that they have options in terms of price and coverage, and just building our team here. So I have such a great group of people that are here, and so I've been really just focused on making, I'm in the business of insurance, but what excites me is about making something awesome and creating something that, you know, I can be proud of. And so that's really been my focus, is building the business, refining what we do, and also the people in my office, helping them get out into the community. You know, so, you know, I'm involved in different things, but I want to know what excites them. And so just little things, like we are going to have a team that will be involved in the streetscape cleanup in downtown Youngstown. So I'm doing my best just to help, you know, them grow and get them to a great place. But no, I love Youngstown. I'm loving life. My son is 12 now, which is hard to believe. And so I'm excited to get back to really fully traveling.
I think everyone is.
Yeah, but things are good. I mean, I'm kind of staying the course, you know, with what we're doing. I have a lot of exciting partnerships right now in the real estate mortgage world. We have a great partnership with Bergen Real Estate, which is how Elise and I first met, was through Bergen. Okay. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. We're putting in some new technology, all that.
Well, and that's great to hear that. Seeing you down the road as one of the future entrepreneurs down the road.
Yeah, and I want to thank you, Tony, too, for what you're doing. I mean, like, we've known each other a long time, and what you're doing with your foundations, you know, just like even this, you know, podcast is awesome. Like, you're one of those people that you're putting yourself out there, and it's making a difference. So I thank you for that. You're really a great example.
I appreciate that. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know we were trying to figure out what this looked like.
We got it. We made it happen.
So, well, at the end of every show, I like to have some fun. If you're up for it.
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
So the questions can be a personal or professional answer. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Ready for a test. This will be harder than your investment in your insurance test.
I'm nervous.
What's your best accomplishment?
Oh, gosh, my son. Just my son. He's 12 years old, so he's at that age where he's so fun and smart and so many great ideas. And I think, you know what, I did something right there. But yeah, he's amazing.
Okay. Best memory
Best memory.
My best memory, I could go in lots of directions with that. Like I said, my father passed away a year ago. And my best memory is my dad would take us to all of the YSU basketball games, YSU football games. I think my love for Youngstown started there. And like I told you, my father was a minister. And we would drive, he would intentionally drive down Market Street, and we would look at downtown and you would, see the stadium, and he would pray for the city. And that's my best memory of my dad, is just going to those games and just his love for the city, and so I will always remember that.
Okay. Best experience.
Best experience.
I think travel is a lot of it. I've always loved to travel from a young age. I was backpacking in Europe when I was 19, but I would say bringing my son into that and having him fall in love with travel. So the summer before COVID, we went on a trip. We went to Italy, and so he's my travel buddy. I mean, he's 10 years old, and he and I are just going everywhere. And so my best experience is we've been everywhere, Italy, all over Europe, like just he and I. So, and it's been so much fun. I can't wait to get back to that.
You can't go wrong with Italy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I need to go back.
Yeah, we were supposed to go to Paris last summer, and it got canceled, obviously, because of COVID. So I'm hoping that that's going to be our next trip. That's where I want him to see that.
Okay. Who's your role model?
There are so many. I think I collectively went through a bunch of. Yeah, I think I already did. I collectively went through a bunch of role models, just women in business. So Bergen, Alexa, Aspasia, Lisa Resnick's one of them. Sue Filipovich, who's partners with Patrick Bergen at Bergen Real Estate. She's one. Gosh, there's so many. I think collectively, just those women in business in this area, that they really are my role models.
Okay. And the last question is, if there was one person you'd want to meet, past or present, who would it be and why?
So that's a really difficult question. Probably Barack Obama, I would say. Yeah, I went and saw his wife spoke in Cleveland like a couple years ago, and she was amazing. And so I am very much inspired by them. But yeah, I'm probably fangirl a little bit, but he'd be the one.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, Ellie, I appreciate you taking time. If someone would like to get a hold of you for insurance or maybe some advice for women, would you be able to provide that information to our viewers?
Yeah, send me an email, Ellie@PlattInsurance.com. Like I said, women out there, if you want to start a business, I let's go to lunch, let's get a coffee. I am all about that. So you can email me. Our office, we have two offices, one in Howland, one in Sebring. So, if anybody's interested in insurance, obviously we can help you there. But yeah, and then our website is PlattInsurance.com. So you can learn more about our business there. But I love people, I love to meet with people. So just shoot me an email.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you for what you do in the community.
For sure. Thanks so much.
If you'd like to see more interviews or podcasts, you can go to AnthonyDiSpano.com. We appreciate you joining us tonight on Spaying the Need. For more information, check us out. Everyone, stay safe. Good night. And stay blessed.